Good morning, ladies. So excited to see all of you. So if you haven't met me yet, my name is Hannah. I'm one of the support coaches. And so if this is your first time being on the call, what you'll do is you'll just throw in the chat that you want to be coached, and we will go in order based off of how we see that. And so just a couple of housekeeping things. If you've been coached in the past 3 days, we just ask that you don't submit a question, just so other women on the program can have space to get coached and so that you can really digest what you received. So I see a lot of you have already thrown in the chat. So y'all are doing great. And then we will get started. I'll pass it off to Brie.
Awesome. Thanks, Hannah. So glad to have you here. Great to see your guys' faces today. I'm seeing some faces I haven't seen in a long time, which is really sweet to me. So welcome, everybody. Glad to spend this time with you. I would love to just kind of dive in with some breath work today before we actually get into the coaching. So if you're into that, feel free to join. If you're like, I could take it or leave it, no problem. We're just going to take a few minutes to do that. And I'd love to just do one round of like the Wim Hof method. And so what he does for that is he breathes in and out 30 times. So one time is an inhale and an exhale. That's one time. And you do that 30 times. And we're going to hold our breath for as long as you can. Don't turn purple, right? Just hold it as long as you can until you're like, okay, I'd like to take a breath. And then we're going to exhale it and hold it for as long as we can. Okay, so this is not about pushing yourself to the absolute extreme. It's just feeling a little bit of tension. Not a competition, but maybe another time, another context, maybe we can do that in. But yeah, so real simple. You can't do this wrong. I'm going to start us off. Again, we're going to do 30 times. So I'll go ahead and count for you, and you guys can just follow and breathe. Okay, so all right, here we go. All right, so breathe in 1 and breathe out 1. And breathe in 2, sorry. And breathe out 2. You can close your eyes if you want. And breathe in 3. And breathe out 3. 4. 5. Sorry. 5. Yeah, 5. 6. Breathing in. And 6, breathing out. 7, breathing in. And 7, breathing out. In 8. And out 8. And in 9. And out 9. And in 10. And out 10. In 11. And out 11. And in 12. And out 12. In 13. And out 13. In 14. And out 14. In 15. And out 15. Halfway. In 16. And out 16. In 17. And out 17. In 18. And out 18. In 19. And out 19. In 20. And out 20. In 21. And out 21. In 22. And out 22. In 23. Out 23. In 24. And out 24. In 25. And out 25. In 26 and out 26. In 27 and out 27. In 28, out 28. In 29 and out 29. In 30 and out 30. And go ahead and blow it all the way out and just calmly hold it right there. Hold your breath. You're doing great. It's okay if you need to take a breath before we stop. That's all right. Just going to pause a little bit longer. Okay, and we're going to count down till your inhale. 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath and hold it at the very top. Yeah. While you're holding, just notice if there's any tension in your body. Try and relax your shoulders and just let your air sustain you. And just let your fingers go soft and your hips be soft. It's okay if you've already needed to exhale, that's all right. We're just gonna go a little bit longer. And we're gonna count you down to 3, 2, 1. Okay. Awesome, just let your breath return to normal. Yeah. Okay, and just notice how you feel. And it's okay if you don't feel any different. It's not that you have to feel a certain way, but just take note of what it feels like in your body. All right, awesome. Thanks, Hannah, for putting that note in the chat. I was wondering, if anybody hops in right now, they're gonna be like, what's going on? Just doing some breath work to begin us today. So thanks for being here, guys. It looks like some more people jumped on while we were doing that. Welcome, it's great to have you. We're gonna go ahead and get started with Hannah's list, and I see Sharon is first. So Sharon, if you would like to unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Brie?
Good, thank you. What's up today?
So I guess I just imagined that I would come with a perfect question and that I would like have everything put together and my hair would be done and my makeup would be on. But yeah, no, this is just I guess the way it is. And yeah, I was like crying all morning and I was like super caught off guard yesterday because my dad texted me and I haven't really talked to him in like 3 years because he's just like kind of toxic.
Mm.
So I had to end that to protect myself. And I think I just like I don't think I really need anything except for this space to be like sad. You know, like I think I just need space to like not be judged in being sad. Like and to like know that like I'm missing out on my dad and like missing out on like a relationship with him. And I just like never really let my heart go into that space because it just feels so big and so scary.
Right.
But it feels like my dad ruined my life because he couldn't teach me like anything. Like couldn't teach me how to protect myself, couldn't teach me how to like access my desires because my desires weren't good and there wasn't space for me to have an opinion. Couldn't teach me how to like be strong in relationships with men, to say no. And I think I'm just like now feeling like the weight of like, oh, like that's painful. So I don't really even know if that's a question, and I'm so sorry.
No, you're doing great. You're doing really great. In fact, I'm quite impressed that you are like, I think I just really need space to be sad. That's a really powerful ask. Even though you may not feel powerful on the inside like this right now, that was a really powerful ask. Yeah. Yeah. I would
Yeah.
love to hear more of what your heart is thinking and feeling. We can take time for that today.
Yeah. It feels like if he was a good dad that like I would be successful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like he set me up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like I don't have the chance to fix it. Like I can't do anything about it. Like I'm a victim to like me as a child, like I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
And now like I want to. Now I'm here and I'm going through the work. I think this is the work. But it feels like I think I'm just like recognizing that I'm so angry. I'm so angry at him for just like not being able to take care of me the way that like take care of my heart. Like he took care of me my whole life. I only recently stopped talking to him, but like he was there for my physical needs. Like he went to work every day and he provided.
Mm-hmm.
But like the amount of judgment that he carries just like I feel like infected me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel broken because he's broken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And it feels like it's like irrecoverable.
Yeah. I hear your heart being ready to grieve that.
Yeah. And I just haven't grieved it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been like years.
Mm-hmm.
Um and it feels like I didn't even really know like how much anger and sadness and pain I had.
Mm-hmm.
And it always just felt like I could just like be strong and like fix it. Like, okay, I see that you made a mess. Like you caused a problem inside of me and I'm just going to fix it. So like I'm going to like sign up for a program
Mm-hmm.
and like make all my problems go away. And I'm just like I just didn't really feel the pain of like that.
Yeah.
And also just like not accepting myself the way that I am.
Mm-hmm.
And not accepting that like I'm also okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like to be here, to be in this space. And I actually don't have to fix myself. And that's like super, super beautiful about this program. Um, but yeah, I just like, I never really felt it. And now I can't stop crying.
Yeah. Yeah. And inside of those tears, are you feeling, well, you just said you feel like you're allowing it more than you ever have. Do you feel like any judgment is coming up towards yourself in letting yourself be sad and angry?
Yeah, like I feel like this is the most ridiculous reason to be on a coaching call.
Wow. Way to voice it. Wow.
And like I'm wasting your time.
Fascinating. Yeah, I just saw some people shake their heads right away. And there's people commenting too. Yeah. But that's not the case. Yeah. That's really interesting. I'm sorry that your heart assumes that, that this is not worthy of my time or other people's time or even your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it feels like if I can't bring something happy to you or to like the other girls here, like it's just like not worth it.
Wow. Yeah.
And I really, really, really want to be happy right now. And I really want to like be joy, but I'm just trying to let myself like be a mess.
Which is really brave, right? And brave isn't like what I define it to be. It's I know it's brave because you're like, oh, I don't let myself do this. I handle it. Like I go fix it, you know. So this is really brave when you've shared with me that like, oh, I don't usually let myself go here. That's a big deal. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask where you feel that sadness in your body?
Yeah, I feel it in my stomach. I feel it like deep in my stomach. And I don't know, like I've never lost anybody. Like I've never experienced death or anything like that. So I don't really even know like if I'm like grieving right, or if I'm like doing this right, or like if I'm supposed to be feeling that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really challenging on top of feeling it to then go, am I doing this right? Yeah. Yeah. There's a sweet little girl in there. Yeah.
Yeah. This is like kind of like grief, right?
Yeah. You're doing really good. From my own experience with grief, it when it's not directly tied to like a current event, for me grief has like ebbed and flowed, and it's not linear at all, in my experience, and so kind of riding those waves as they come is what I understand to be grief. But I know there's different types and different seasons of it, and the circumstances can affect that. But yeah, I think especially you talking about the anger coming up with it, that really does sound like grief to me. But you know, I don't want to do you a disservice by just telling you, oh, this is the definition of grief, and you're doing it right or wrong. I am very curious about your heart that's like, how do I know if I'm doing this right? Because ultimately, like your biggest goal today that you've shared is like to just let myself be in it, like to not step outside and analyze if I'm doing it, but like to let myself be in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's true. And I also really relate to waves. Like being perfectly fine and then like getting hit with like that is so painful. I need to cry. And like not knowing like when it's going to come, and also just being fine other times. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So hear you. How does it feel to have voiced that today, to say, I'm not okay today?
I feel uncomfortable, but my heart is like, I can feel my heart looking at me like, thank you. Like, I know you didn't like that, but thank you. Like, I know you want to protect yourself from judgment, but thank you. And even just like protect myself from me. Like, I don't want to feel it, but I think like my heart really needs to. Like, I don't want to feel broken. I don't like this feeling. Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather just put it away.
Yeah.
I'd rather be fine. I'd rather take my day off and go outside and play. Like, but my heart, like, I actually feel my heart, like, trusting me right now. Like, and that's crazy.
Mhm.
It's crazy when, like, you guys use the language of, like, building trust with your heart. Like, I never really, it's, like, hard to understand until you experience it.
Mhm.
But, like, I feel, like, trustworthy in myself to
Mhm.
say, like, no, like, if I'm feeling that, like, I'm gonna let you feel it.
Mhm.
Like, if that's something that I'm experiencing, like, I'm gonna go get my needs met in a way that's, like, good for me.
Mhm.
And I still feel a little bit uncomfortable, but, like, I'm more, like, I feel more glad about my heart than about you guys. Like, yeah, you guys might have, like, sacrificed something and, like, experienced something. But my heart is, like, means a lot more to me right now.
Mhm. Yeah. So good. So good. Is there anything coming to your mind of how you want to help yourself just be in this space for today?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, like, I don't have to force myself to, like, start getting up and, like, doing things or to try and force myself to have fun today.
Mhm.
Um, like, I can actually just sit in my room and not talk to anybody
Mhm.
and not get dressed
Mhm.
and, like, not put on a face to be strong. Like,
Mhm.
I never really, like, I don't like doing this. I don't like being in this space because it makes me feel like, oh, like, I'd rather be productive and performing, and I want people to look up to me.
Mhm.
But I'm also, I think that this is really good to, like, actually say, like, no, Sharon, like, no one is looking at you. Like, no one can see you in this space. You can actually just, like, meet the needs of your heart. Like, you can actually just feel what it's feeling, and you don't have to perform to, like, avoid criticism.
Mhm. Yeah, really powerful. So good. I love that you're taking the time for yourself. And I sense like your energy is not in a rush. Like you're willing to take time sharing with us today. You're willing to like take time with yourself. That's really a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy about that. It's, like, a lot of work to do. It's a lot of work to do this.
Isn't that interesting? Because like we call it work, right? And it's not it's not necessarily action, it's being. It's being
Yeah.
inside the emotions. That's the work, right? You're doing awesome. Yeah, you're doing awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of against the grain,
Mhm.
like, of what I would naturally do, so it feels like I'm intentionally doing it, but you're right, I'm not actually taking action, I'm just being.
Yeah, letting the wave roll through. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and for the people watching this, thank you for just giving me this space.
Okay. I love you started the call. So beautiful. Yeah. Make sure you get those sweet comments in the chat. And yeah, just appreciate your openness and your willingness to share inside of this instead of wait till it was all past. It's amazing. Thanks, Sharon. Take care. Love it. So sweet, you guys. There's so much permission on that, huh? So much permission. Love that. All right. Brie, you are next.
Hi.
Hello. What's up?
Um, I don't know. I think um I have been like struggling with a lot of shame around the walls that I have and like wanting to feel accepted in it and wanting to feel like loved and um my like wanting my hard heart to feel love
Yeah.
before I even like let it be soft, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then in that, I feel like I purposefully hurt people and I purposely like push people away. And like if I don't do that, then the conditions are I need to act this way and act that way in order for you to love me. Um, and so I feel like my walls are like my friends, but they're also like I hate them and I feel shame about them and I want to hide them. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Totally. Anybody else feel like their walls are friends and also enemies? Anybody relate to that? Yeah. And I thought that was beautiful language. And painful. I don't just mean beautiful, like, oh, that's cute. Yeah, like, no, that is painful. I hear where you're coming from. I had a random thought that I just want to toss out there, and we'll see if there's something on it, and if not, no problem. But did your little girl learn growing up that trying to find the words, like, is there any chance that your little girl learned that putting a wall up would actually cause people to pursue you?
Yeah. So I think with my mom, I could be like mean to her and um, she would just kind of like take it and but she like pursued me anyway. I think the main person it was with my dad. Like he just never engaged with me. And when he was like engaging with me, it was usually criticism. And then I would like I would fight back and like but I think I was always doing it because I wanted relationship and I wanted him to like love me in it and I wanted him to not have conditions on his love for me. And but he was never like pushing back for a relationship. He was just pushing back to be right in it. And yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, when you mentioned earlier that you're aware that your heart wants love, but it tends to push people away and kind of resist the very thing it needs. I was curious if you learned that push-pull thing from parents. And that feels really, really sad to me that dad only leaned in to be right, not actually to know you or to have your heart, to get your heart. Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't to trust or winning your affection or winning your attention. He was just being right. Yeah. Yeah. So it would make sense that that dynamic pops up when you need love the most. You tend to push it away to see, like, are they actually going to come? Are they? Has there been a time in your life where somebody has pushed past that and affected your heart?
I think literally just recently, with Ronnie, the girl you just talked to, she was like, I like said something to hurt her, like on purpose, and I told her I tried to hurt her, and it was just really uncomfortable and awful. Sorry, I just dropped my headphone. And she just like leaned in, and like I don't feel regret about hurting her. Like, and that's awful to me because I'm like, I know that's wrong. Like, I know that's not the right, like, that's not loving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, where does this come in with how I'm like trusting myself? And like, because obviously, no matter how many, like, I don't know, I'm like, I feel like the solution is to bring it to people and not feel shame about it. But then I also feel like I'm hurting people. Like, yeah.
And again, just so that I understand, you feel like you're hurting people when you push them away, or when you directly say things to push them away, or?
Yes, like I can be like manipulative and like not want people to know like what I'm feeling. And then like I think I know like how I can control their feelings and like push them away, but don't act like I was telling her like after we had this conversation and I was like telling her all kind of my issues and there's like no solution to it and just feeling vulnerable and like I then all of a sudden I was just like I was like I wish like essentially I said like I wish we weren't talking right now. Like I said like oh I'm like ruining my life because like I have school to do and like all this other stuff. Like the reality was is like I don't know, like I wanted to be there, but I think I said it to like push her away and like to see if she would like lean in anyway. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like you were like, whoa, I feel vulnerable. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Maybe vulnerability in the past has meant, oh, that's where you get hurt. And your heart identifies it with, oh, this is where we get hurt when we're vulnerable, instead of, oh, this is where we get connection, right? Which
Yeah.
again, like a lot of us are working out those types of dynamics, you know, so it's not like you are, you know, weird and oh my gosh, I can't believe you do that. No, I can talk to you because I'm relating to you, right? Because I've seen myself do this too. And I'm really curious, like what your little girl is speaking under that, because like you were very aware of, okay, I said this external thing, like I wish we weren't in this conversation right now. But inside your heart's like, ooh, I feel very exposed and I don't know yet if I'm going to be covered in love or rejected, right? Like that, I feel like your heart was saying something under there. Do you have any idea of more of what that could have been?
I don't know. I had this thought today, like, about my family and like how I just moved out of my home and I think for a long time, I was really proud that I like stayed. And I was really proud that like I like pushed through. And when other people were like, my family sucks, I was like, mine is too, but like I can be here. Like I'm strong enough to do it. And I don't know what that is, but I just feel like all this pride around a lot of things. And I don't know, like, I mean, yeah, and it feels like protection, and I don't really know like what the actual thing is. Does that make sense?
What the actual what is?
What the actual thing is that like my little girl is trying to find like security in, or like what was the question that you asked?
Yeah, just wondering what your heart is saying underneath the pushing away.
Yeah.
Because we can sit here and judge that behavior. I'm not really interested in doing that because I think there's more going on underneath.
Yeah. I mean, she just wants acceptance, like without conditions.
And what were the conditions that your dad had for you to accept you?
My dad never accepted me. Like, okay, maybe he did. Yeah, that's a good question. Like that's the thing. Is like acceptance to me feels like surface level, like he needed me to, like before I left home, he was like, if you would have just like done what I asked you to do, like none of this would have happened. And when he said none of this, he meant like him calling me a bitch and like him screaming at me and him just like not taking ownership for anything he said or done. And so it's like for me, acceptance from my dad and like safety from my dad has felt like him leaving me alone in a way, and almost being like, oh, like I'm okay enough to be left alone. Yeah. And he would always say too, like, I would just leave you alone if you did this or that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like your heart is in this conundrum where safety and acceptance with your dad meant you were alone. And now it's like your heart's trying to reconcile what safety and acceptance is in a healthy relationship, in a healthy friendship, in a healthy family. And it's like 180 degrees. And so it's like feeling like these little stops and starts. And like, what if that's what was happening, is your heart is actually being really brave lately, and these little stops and starts and stutters are like nothing to condemn, but just to like look at and be like, oh, look at I'm trying. Like I'm daring to believe that relationship can feel different.
Yeah.
Is there something else you feel like sharing? I feel like there is.
I think I like I was messaging with this lady who mentored me for a long time. And like a lot of our relationship was like she was the first person to like love me in my mess. But I think also she was always like pulling me out of it. So I was messaging her about like, hey, like actually I just want like a friendship with you, and I don't necessarily want like advice, and I just like value your presence. And she was like, a friendship, and she said a lot of things, but she's like, a friendship is a source of encouragement and love. They go hand in hand. Whether you want to hear encouragement is completely in your boat. It's not me trying to fix you. It is me caring. She's like, if my boys were in a tough spot, I would meet them there, speak truth, and love them there. So to me, I feel more so that you don't trust that I would still love you. And that's why you don't want to hear any like advice. And I'm like, that's like true. Like my relationship with myself right now is I feel like I don't want like advice, or I don't want to be fixed. And I just want my life to like go to shit. But I'm also really scared of that. And like, so I've told her like, yeah, I mean, advice to me feels unsafe because it feels like I'm at this point just trying, like, it's conditional love. And I told her, I'm like, that's all my stuff. Like, it's the fact that, like, I don't feel like I can accept myself sometimes when I'm not fixing it. And I just, but I almost feel like I'm rejecting her because she feels so like her truth that she wants to speak to me, or her encouragement that she wants to speak to me, is like who she is. And I don't know. I just don't know what to say to her. Like what, how, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It does sound tricky. I mean, this was through text, is that right?
Yeah, like voice message, and then also like we called each other and kind of talked about it. But
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that does. I mean, I love how you kind of sum that up as like, okay, this is my stuff, but right now I just don't want to be fixed, and advice feels like fixing. Like when you said that to me, I felt like you gave me a really good look at where you're at right now, and that a lot of pain is coming up inside of just allowing yourself to be in it rather than fix it. But I think again, it's really brave to recognize where you're at, and I don't know, it sounds important to you that you let yourself have this space. And you know, it's hard because like we have hindsight when we're looking back, and being like, okay, that was really helpful for me to sit in my emotions. Or, okay, like I feel like I got lost in the weeds there for a couple weeks, but just like, okay, like I learned from that, but it's hard to know beforehand, So I think it's just really cool that you're allowing yourself to be right where you are. And that though that's pushing on this relationship a little bit, you guys are getting to actually have more conversation about it, it sounds like. Yeah, which is really brave. And I know it doesn't sound like there's a conclusion yet, which can feel really uncomfortable when there's like a question mark sitting in a relationship. Totally. I don't like that either. I don't. But it's really interesting you've brought up acceptance throughout this conversation, and I do want to circle back to like your acceptance of you, and I know how all those things connect. But if you have been taught that acceptance means being left alone, then leaving yourself while you feel out of sorts in this space right now, that would be a really natural response, huh?
Yeah.
So what could it look like to stay with yourself and practice acceptance without really having it modeled much for you?
Yeah, I've felt really disconnected from my heart for sure. So that's really interesting. That that is because I felt like accepting myself is like not being with me. And I think it looks like me I don't know. It's hard because like I don't know, I feel like and it's just been a few weeks, but like I have felt connected to myself when I like talk to myself and tell myself like I accept you no matter like what you do or say or happens or and then like meeting with my heart um and accepting it how it is. But then like I feel like my heart's I like I don't know. It like it's trying to prove that it can still be accepted still, like even when it's rebellious and it doesn't want to be here. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's really, really awful. Like the feeling of being connected and then not, and being connected and not.
Yeah.
And feeling like it's my fault, but like I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So hearing you. Yeah.
Hmm.
If you were to close your eyes and ask your heart right now what your one next baby step is,
Mm-hmm.
you know what you hear.
I feel like my heart is just being an asshole to me. And I don't know.
What did it say? What did
I feel like my heart is just like telling me to ruin my life. So like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think my heart wants to lean in, but it doesn't like trust me to keep leaning in. And like the next step is just like continuing to lean in.
Mm-hmm.
But that feels like painful because I don't trust myself to like keep leaning in.
And that's why it feels like ruining your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you on that. It feels real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense that relationships feel really high stakes without having that grounding of dad and like that unconditional like I'm with you while you grow. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
taking these little risks in relationships, and I don't mean little like they don't matter. I mean these little steps like reaching out and letting your mentor know like actually I just want to be friends with you. Like that feels really, really scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because relationships have been high stakes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you remind me what week you're in the course?
I haven't done like coursework in a long time. Kind of 8, like I just started it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool. I mean, week 7 and 8 really, really go together in my mind of just that
Mhm.
codependency stuff and the communication stuff, and
Yeah.
being able to articulate where our relationships are in our life, and then what we're actually wanting to experience in those is an art. It's really an art. So
Yeah.
while inside your life, I can appreciate that all of this feels kind of chaotic because you don't know where all the pieces are going to land. I want to commend you and say, way to show up to this. And I know part of you wants to put walls up and be like, no, I'm just going to go back to like, molding into whoever I need to be for each person in my life. But
Yeah.
each little step you take and you taste that freedom of like being in your own skin and being your own person,
Mhm.
making mistakes and surviving, and not just surviving, but thriving after it. All those little
Yeah.
steps builds into more of that trust with yourself, and the stakes on relationships feel a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah. So I would continue to ask God to give you like a bird's eye view of your life right now,
Mhm.
that you can have compassion and appreciate it right here while you're in it, but then you can also step back and be like,
Yeah.
wow, I'm doing things I've never done before. Wow,
Mhm.
go me. That's so brave.
Mhm.
It's one thing
Yeah.
to be like 5 and to try riding a bike. It's a different thing to be 27 and learning to ride a bike. The stakes feel different, right? Especially if we were
Mhm.
like, we're very plastic, like we're very we're very spongy at young ages when we learn things. And so I feel like anytime we attempt to learn something new in adulthood, it's like extra brave because we know a lot by this time, right? We have these conclusions about how life works and how people are. And so to stay plastic, like not just neuroplastic, but like soft of heart, where we're
Yeah.
like, it could be good though. This could be good. Like leaning in that way, in a
Yeah.
childlike way where you're expecting goodness,
Mhm.
is a possible option.
Yeah. It's good.
How you feeling?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just sad. I think like that it feels so hard for me to not to be like to have um like the childlike perspective. Um and like this could be good. Um but also like powerful in that like, oh, I can actually um figure out what I want in like relationship and for myself and um and yeah, like not make decisions out of I could be rejected or I could you know, like when I told her all of that, I was like, am I doing this to like fix her? Am I doing this to like because I feel like I need to cling on to something? I'm like, actually this feels like more risk and more like I'm honoring what my heart wants than it does like some grasp for safety, you know? So I'm excited, I think, to see
Yeah.
it in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm so cheering you on.
Thanks.
Really, really. Yeah. Did you have any other thoughts or feelings you wanted to share as we wrap up here?
No, I just love you and thank you.
So sweet. Thanks for the love. I love you back. Keep us posted, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, girl.
Bye.
All right. Okay, Marche. Excited to see you, girl. You're next.
Hello,
Hello. It's so wonderful to see you.
how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part.
What's on your mind today?
So I don't really know sort of where to start. So I'm on week 9, and I have done the homework the entire time, and I just, so I had that sort of crazy encounter with you, where we walked my dad out, and God told me I was a miraculous miracle. And like since then, like I have felt very whole. My anxiety is like maybe 1%. Like I haven't been anxious or panicky. And so and then a couple weeks later I had another encounter where I think I was with Jenny, and they were talking about like, so I was encountering my dad. My dad actually came to my house like in real life. And I had told him about feeling like I was a mistake, and he didn't like acknowledge anything beyond that. He was like, "Oh, okay." But like he didn't like, I was too scared to say, "You said blah blah blah," and he just didn't like say anything. So then I had this encounter where like he was sitting in the spot that he was sitting in when he was here, and God was sitting next to him and sort of like waiting for me to like talk to him. And then there was another encounter where it was the same thing, but this time he was wrapped in these like really heavy ship boat ropes, and like from neck down, and Jesus was sort of like handing me the end of the rope as indicating I should, take the rope and start to unravel this forgiveness I need to obviously be giving him. So, and then I've just kind of been stuck there. And I keep posting the same question every Wednesday. And I just, like, I didn't even post it last week because I've basically felt like I don't know, I feel like I've given up on it, but I don't I don't really know what my question is, I guess. I guess I feel sort of like stuck in a way because I feel like God removed, on that day with you, like God removed or gave me, I'm not sure which, something that I obviously really needed. And now it feels almost, and I sort of realized this the other day, that now it almost feels like I'm trying to give it back in a way, or like I'm not fully accepting it because like I'm still, it's like my brain, it's like my heart and body have accepted it, but my brain is like, oh no, like you're I don't, it's not that I feel like a mistake, it's just that I keep getting triggered by it in certain ways. Not as much anymore, but I don't know. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're doing great. I know this. I was just thinking like, man, putting words to our internal world is not an easy thing. So
Yeah.
Can you describe, do you mind going into detail on one of your recent triggers where you felt like your brain was reminded, oh, maybe I am a mistake?
Yeah, it's like every trigger I have with my partner, I can link back to my dad. Like every single one. And if it doesn't go straight back to him, it usually goes to my ex-fiance, and then I encounter that, and then I end up back at my dad.
Mhm.
And it's like and now, like when I see my dad in person, it's like I overcompensate. Okay, so like I'm missing a whole like part of this. So a couple weeks ago, I was in therapy and I was talking about like my encounter with my dad, like the actual him being here, and then the actual encounter of him being here.
Mhm.
And suddenly, like she had asked me about like what my sister's relationship with him is like, and I said my sister's like oblivious to, like, my sister and is her relationship is entirely different than my relationship with him, and it seems like she's almost just happy-go-lucky, oblivious to what's going on. And she asked me, well, when's the first time you noticed that about her? And it took me to a memory of like being 3, or I was 6 and she was 3, and we were sitting at the dining room table, and she was just again happy-go-lucky, and I was scared because my dad had punched a hole in the wall next to the telephone. And like I didn't see him do it. Like I saw the hole there, and I knew in my kid mind that like I was afraid. And um and at that was the point in time when my mom was in the hospital from she had a multiple sclerosis flare up. So, and I don't know how long she was in the hospital. I think it was like a week. So I'm telling this to my therapist, and I'm like, she's asking me questions, and then my brain starts like moving faster than I can really process, and it starts putting together all these pieces, because my entire life I've felt like I've been, at some point I was sexually abused. I felt this my entire life. And I asked my mom about it once, and she said, I've been waiting for you to ask me, essentially. And so, but she never like confirmed anything. And she just said she sort of like thought that something had occurred and was waiting for me to bring it to her.
Mhm.
And so I'm sitting there with the therapist, and like suddenly I start getting all of these like images of like, it was basically like a I forgot the word at this point. A recessed, is that right? Recessed memory,
Suppressed, maybe?
suppressed. Thank you. A suppressed memory of like um of like this guy partially naked sitting on a couch, and then me standing in front of him. And as the memory popped up, it was like immediately I could see who it was, but then it seemed like my brain couldn't handle it, so it like blurred the person's face.
Mhm.
And and then that's sort of where it stopped. Like it was like my adult brain was in the memory of this like small kid, so I knew something bad was about to happen, but like that's where it sort of shut off.
Mhm.
um and so yeah, so it's sort of been stuck And I know that probably doesn't make any sort of sense and it's all out of order, but yeah, this is where Marche is at today.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you sharing that. And yeah, I appreciate just your honesty. And you're like, I don't have all these things put together yet, but here's all the pieces. That's really, really brave of you to share. Got a little pup.
Yeah, 3 of them.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, how are you doing, number one, after sharing that with us? You doing all right?
Yeah, I feel okay. So maybe like a little bit overwhelmed. Like, a part of it too is like I don't want to trigger anyone. So like I feel bad if I've triggered anyone. So
Yeah. It's okay. There's space for you here. Yeah, we are here for you, and we're all learning about our own triggers as we go. So it's my understanding, it's my opinion that while our triggers can bump up into each other, like for us to always be taking responsibility for other people's triggers is not actually going to help the situation. So I just want you in this moment to have the invitation of, it's okay that I share. It's okay that I have my space on this call.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hearing, go ahead.
No, I think the other thing too, which seems silly, but usually like I do have something funny to say and I just like don't have anything funny to offer you all today. So I feel bad about that. And I know it seems stupid, but like that's a big deal to me. So like to be like the bright light in other people's day, and I'm like, all I'm doing is bringing this heavy shit to people today. But
no, I appreciate that that's something you love to bring to a room. I think that's beautiful. And I also hope that your heart gets to learn that she can show up in any state and be accepted and be seen and known. Yeah. So I love that you shared even that level of honesty. Like, I really want to bring something light and funny, and you're right, you have a fantastic laugh. I love it, but it's okay. It's okay that this is what you brought today. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess I do, like, to answer your question from earlier, I do feel a sense of heaviness. Like my body now feels just like heavy.
Yeah. Good awareness. Yeah. That's really good. Yeah. Yeah. So you shared the piece about the real life encounter with dad coming over and not being able to meet you in your vulnerability. You shared the encounter with your dad kind of in the spirit, in your imagination, where you saw those ropes around him and you sensed that it had to do with forgiveness. And then you shared about being with your therapist and these sexual abuse memories coming up, and mom kind of confirming them, but not really helping with them. So all these things coming up at the same time, we could spend a little bit of time like going into those and seeing kind of how they connect, but I almost feel more of a pull towards just taking care of your heart in this moment and like helping you reconnect with safety and being in this part of your process. Those are just kind of some of my thoughts right off the bat. Do you know what your heart is needing in this space?
I mean, I definitely resonated with safety. Like I have been slightly more yeah, maybe safety. I think like I have been more easily triggered in a sort of a paranoid kind of way since then. And like I like he has my house key and I want it back, and I can't. I feel like I can't ask for it back. And so like there's a sense of unsafety I feel there. So like, yeah.
Can I invite you into sharing more about why you feel like you can't ask for the key back?
I feel like scared again, like that little kid all over again. And I don't want him to ask me like, why do you want your key back? But like I didn't give it to him in order for him to keep it. Like I gave it to him so he could check on the dogs while I was out of town, and then he hasn't given it back. And so now I've had these encounters, and I'm like, I need my key back to feel safe. So
What would help your heart feel safe to ask for that key back? What would you need in order to feel okay with asking for it?
like someone else to go with me to ask for it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that that's what came to you. Who could go with you?
I mean, to not have to get into why I need it back, most likely my brother, because my brother's going to be watching, like staying at my house while I go to a wedding in a couple weeks. So it would make sense that he would need my spare key, even though I have 3 more spares. But like they don't know that. Like, I just, yeah.
So when
But
you
I
think,
feel like
go ahead.
I feel like I'm sort of like using him as a scapegoat and copping out from like being woman and like demanding my key. But then I'm like, I don't know. I usually feel much safer and stronger, and this is making me feel very scared.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, it I don't know that it was him or not. He was the face I saw before I saw the blurry face. But and he was the person that my mom thought that it had occurred by. But when I was in college, my dad pushed me hard, like into a dumpster. And 2 or 3 years later, I asked for an apology, and he told me that never happened. And like 30 people saw the whole thing happen. So like I'm not gonna. There's no point of me bringing any of this up because I'm not gonna get any sort of closure or um uh like I'm sorry apology.
Yeah.
So I basically have just like set it to the side and said that I've seen enough. I don't need to know anymore. I don't care what happened after that. I don't need to know. And I just sort of let it go.
Yep. Yeah. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That is, yeah. I'm really sorry that that happened to you, because that I can see how Dad's interactions with you have really confused, like you feeling like you have a voice and like you have power and like you can choose. And I'm not saying this is across the board in life, but just in the elements you brought up today. When I say taking your power back in this situation, what comes to mind? What is that, like, abstract to you? Do you know
No,
exactly?
I mean, I know exactly what you mean. I've encouraged other girls to do it. Not girls, other women to do it. So I understand what it means. I understand what it is. It, it's like I've done that with him already on multiple occasions. Like the whole dumpster incident was because I was tired of being told, like, you need to be more like your sister, you know, she's the pretty one, like, you need to act like her. And I chose to, like, defend myself and walk away versus getting into an argument, and that was like not okay for him. Um so like there have been periods of time where I have had to take my power back from him, but I guess I didn't realize we were in one of those periods again.
Mm. In this space right now, does it feel easy to connect with God right now, or does it feel challenging? And it's okay if it just takes you a minute to kind of center in and feel out that, but I want to know if connection to God feels easy or not right here.
I almost feel paralyzed. Like I feel I literally feel like the only part of my body that's moving is my head at the moment. Like scared.
Yeah.
He's not even here.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really want to care for you in this time. Would you be okay with just me walking you through some like body awareness and breathing, and then kind of connecting in and seeing what God wants to say to you right now?
Yeah.
Feel okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, since you're in your body and I'm not, please communicate with me. If something feels scary, or if something shifts, changes for the good, for the bad, just keep me posted, okay?
Okay.
Okay. I have no agenda where we need to end up. Just want to come alongside, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Does it feel safe to close your eyes right now?
Yeah, it's okay.
Let's start with your eyes open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Can you give me a second?
Yep.
Sorry, I needed to shut my front door.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So just with your eyes open or closed, whatever feels safe. It's up to you. I just want you to start by feeling your feet on the ground. Just feel them flat on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Become aware of them, right? Nothing crazy or out there. Just feel your feet on the ground. I want you to take a deep breath and let your whole rib cage come up. So if you need to sit up straighter or put your shoulders back, feel free to do that, okay? Yeah, that's right. Your body knows. So just start taking some deep breaths and just make your exhale a little bit longer than your inhale, okay? Thank you, Father. I just want you to feel your fingers and just go ahead and stretch them out on your knees. Just kind of extend them and then let them just hang loose on top of your legs there. And if you recall this, we're going to do just the little exercise of watching your body fill up with water. Okay, so real simple. Just start at your toes, and I just want you to see water starting to fill your body in a really calming way. Okay, so water's coming in, filling up your feet, filling up your calves. It's really gentle. And see it going past your knees, up your thighs, into your hips. That's moving all the way up your trunk, filling yourself up into your shoulders and down into your arms, into each finger. And it's filling you up on the inside, up your neck, all the way up through your head and your ears, into the crown of your head. And just go ahead and take another deep, deep breath, as deep as you can. And we're not striving for perfection here, just as much clarity as possible. Just picture Jesus. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if it's blurry. It's okay if it's clear. Just picture Jesus in front of you. Yeah. And just notice his hair. Notice his clothes. And I want you to take a step closer to him in your mind's eye and just see his eyes and his facial expression. And it's okay if it's a little bit blurry. It's okay if you're getting sensations more than seeing. It's all right. It's perfect. Marcia, I just want to give you a moment to describe how you're seeing Jesus in this space.
It's like I'm only getting half a view. Like usually I can see and connect with Jesus very clearly, but this is like only half of my, like only one eye works. It's really weird.
Yeah. Which eye is it?
My right eye works.
Okay. It's interesting. I don't know what it means, but we're just going to note it. Okay. We're just
Okay.
keeping ourselves curious here. Okay. So you're seeing all of Jesus, but you feel like just through one eye.
Yeah, it's like I still feel like that paralyzed feeling on the left side of my body.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
It's literally like I literally feel heaviness all on one side, but not the other.
So heavy on the right side and numb
Heavy on the left side.
heavy on the left side. And that makes it feel paralyzed, like it can't move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I would love to invite Holy Spirit to become present to you in this scene, but I want to ask how that feels to you. Does that feel safe? Does that feel good?
It feels new. I don't deal with the Holy Spirit a whole lot, but I'm open to it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's just go with that openness and you just keep me posted, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So as you're looking at Jesus, I just want you to remember that Jesus said, it's better that I go so that I can send the Spirit, the Comforter, the Advocate. Yeah. So Holy Spirit, I just invite you to reveal yourself to Marche right next to Jesus here. Marche, I just want you to pay attention and just describe to me anything that happens. Not a right or a wrong here.
Okay, so it kind of came like the wind spirit from Frozen.
Yeah, I love it.
And it's like, it's weird, but it's like, it's starting at the ground and trying to like wind up and formulate a person. But I think I'm so afraid of who it's going to be that it won't continue.
Yeah. You're doing awesome. So I just want you to hold that picture. I love your awareness of that it looks similar to the wind spirit and Frozen. That's really good. A lot of times God will use the images of what we already know to speak to us in something that we can comprehend. So that's really beautiful. And I love that you're aware of there's kind of this fear here of I'm afraid who's going to be revealed. Is there anything else you want to share about that?
I think it's because I already know who it is.
And is it that Holy Spirit's being revealed, or that Holy Spirit is revealing someone?
I'm not sure I know the difference, but like, it's the Holy Spirit is feeling like a motherly entity.
Yeah.
And if I let it progress, I can already tell by the feet who it is.
Yeah.
And it's my grandma. My mom's mom, Granby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you mind sharing what feels scary about that?
She died in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been waiting all of this time to feel her close to me, to feel her safety.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just 2 days ago that I finally put her picture on the refrigerator with my mom, who also died.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if she's here, she's not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to be able to keep me safe.
Mm-hmm.
She's always the one who kept me safe from them.
From Dad?
And my mom.
Yeah. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Yeah. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense, Marche. Yeah. want you to ask Holy Spirit what this scene means.
What does this scene mean? It's, they said like them together, Jesus and Granby. They said like, you do a great job at parenting your little you, but right now your adult you needs safe parents. And where are those people?
Wow. I want you to ask them, what does it look like to let you parent me?
What does it look like to let you parent me? They're both just hugging me.
Yeah.
It's like I'm watching the three of them, and that version of me is crying, like as they hug me.
While you're inside that embrace, I want you to ask them what safety is.
What is safety? Knowing? I don't know. It's like, I don't know what that means, but like safety is knowing you're safe.
Do you want to ask them something else about that?
Well, how do I know that I'm safe? Oh, they said you know you're safe. Like that I already know I'm safe. That I just forgot.
When you hear that, what do you think?
That they're right.
You've got a mama figure and a dad figure in front of you. Pure love.
Which I've never had in my encounters. Like in my encounters, I've always been the parent with Jesus.
That's pretty cool. So in this connection with love, a perfect mom and a perfect dad, is there anything else you need in this space from them?
Um, I guess I just want to know she's not going to leave me.
I want you to ask that.
What if she says yes?
Yeah. Yeah, I just saw your little girl come up and want to join the circle because she's the one with this question. Do you see her too? Yeah. I just want you to pick her up and hold her in the middle of that embrace. She's the one that's needing reassurance here. Yeah. Yeah. Just let her be held by all three of you. Yeah, I'm so sorry, little one, that reps felt unpredictable in your life. You didn't know if they were coming or going. You didn't know if they were going to be helpful or if they were going to be hurtful, if they were going to require things of you or allow you to just be who you are. So sorry that's been scary. And little one, I just want you to let your heart take note of this embrace. Jesus and Granby and grown-up Marche holding you, connecting to you. What's happening now, Marche?
We're just standing there holding her. And she's just looking at all of us, smiling, laughing, and hugging us back. It's like she knows more that no one's going anywhere than I do right now.
So I want you to ask Jesus, Jesus, what do I do when I feel like I'm going to be left by love? Like love is going to leave and safety is going to leave. What do I do?
What do I do when I feel like love and safety are going to leave? He like looked at my little girl and said, she'll bring you back.
Love that.
It's like it's the version of me before I could even understand negativity.
Wow. Like you had no grid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And she gets to be the one to bring you back. So Marche, with your eyes closed, I just want you to start coming back into your body, just checking out how that feels. And I'd love to hear how you feel physically and emotionally.
Um, I don't feel so heavy. Emotionally, I'm not really sure how I feel.
Yeah.
It's not like sad, but it's not exactly happy either. I sort of feel unsure. Like I'm afraid this spirit of Grampy's gonna disappear, and I'm never gonna see it again. And yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. Do you feel like spending some time journaling out these thoughts and these experiences could be helpful in kind of organizing it?
yeah,
Yeah. I think that would be cool to do. See if any more insights come up. And at the very least, bringing yourself compassion where you feel like loss is imminent, where you feel like there's not more love available to you.
hmm
Yeah. That could be really valuable.
okay,
And if you feel like sharing it in the Facebook group, I would love it if you tagged me in it so I could be aware of it.
okay,
It's up to you, but yeah, I think some big things are coming to light, and yeah, I think unpacking them in a place where you're not alone could be really important.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. How are you feeling in terms of the right and left sides of your body?
I still feel pretty stiff on the left side, but not like paralyzed feeling.
Okay, yeah. So just keep paying attention to that, because that can be your body talking to you as well. Okay, nothing to be afraid of or anything like that, but that's a really good self-awareness thing of where emotions are showing up in the body. Yeah. Yeah. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for helping me.
absolutely. Let this be a stepping stone to your next encounter with Jesus, and just making sure that, if you're in an encounter, you're looking around, where is Jesus, right? Where is he? Going to bring the wisdom. So just keeping that as your kind of your plumb line as you move forward with unpacking this. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Keep us posted, girl.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And check out the comments too. There's a lot of people who received from your experience as well.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, girl.
Thank
All right. So sweet, you guys. I know that a lot of people received from that as well. And I just want to make note again, especially if you're new to the program, that all of these group calls, the reason we do them in a group is so that everybody can glean from one another. And so like a lot of you are mentioning like, wow, thank you so much, Marche. I sobbed a lot through that. I healed a lot through that. That this is the power of being vulnerable together, is that like everybody receives healing, right? It's like a woman shows up in her vulnerability and it's on a silver platter and she's like offering everybody, you want some of this, you know? And inside of one woman's vulnerability is breakthrough for everybody. And so it adds to the value of what we all interpret vulnerability to be. It adds to the value of our understanding of that when we watch another woman walk through that. So you being here and engaged and open to receiving from other women is a beautiful heart posture to be in. So yeah. All right. Lindsay, you are next on the list, and I'm just checking the time. We've got about 15 minutes left. So I just want to hear from you if that feels like an okay amount of time to dive into your heart a little bit.
I'm trying to check in with my heart right now, and I kind of feel like it's not enough time, but I'm not sure if I should try or maybe not.
Yeah. Well, I want to give you the space. I want to give you all the rest of the time. But just how we use it is kind of up to you. So it's okay if you want to take another moment and just feel out kind of what you're needing and what you're wanting. It's completely okay with me.
Yeah, I guess I'm feeling like maybe I should just wait for another call when I can dive into it. I am sensing it'll be like a little bit longer.
Yeah, okay. Is there anything in the meantime that your heart needs that I could give you in a short amount of time?
I don't hear anything. I'm wishing that I did.
Yeah, no problem. Do you mind if we just chat for a few minutes? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah. Number one, I love that I can hear a ton of happy birds in your background there. So fun.
Thanks, me too.
It's spring. Isn't that great?
Yes.
Yeah, can I ask what week you're in the course?
Yes, I just started. I'm in week 1, and so tomorrow I'll start week 2.
Awesome. So cool. So cool. How was week 1 for you?
It's been pretty good. I've listened to the video I think 3 times now.
Yeah.
But like the 3rd time I finally understood the questions at the end.
Okay, gotcha.
And I mean, I don't know if I just blocked it out before or what, but I finally, it's like, okay, I'm ready to answer these questions now.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you gave yourself the time and the space to absorb it, you know, and watch it multiple times. That's really cool.
Thanks.
That's so good. Have you gotten a chance to show up to other coaching calls at this point?
Yes. Yeah, I think I was coached on Thursday. So
Well, with Sam and Spence.
no, oh, it must have been Friday then.
Okay. Yeah.
On Friday morning.
Awesome. Probably with Jenny. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Was that a helpful experience for you?
Yes, it was.
Good. That's awesome. Good. And how's it feeling with like the Facebook community?
Oh, I'm really impressed with this. I love now how I can scroll on Facebook, and I actually feel my heart engaging every time I mean, I shouldn't say every time, but the majority of the time that I come across a post from this group, my heart just like opens up, and I feel thankful because I think, wow, this is amazing that social media has the power of opening my heart. I didn't know that that was going to be one of the things from this program.
I love that. I love that your heart is picking that up right away too. Like being, starting week 2 with that is a really beautiful heart posture. That's really cool. I love that. So cool. Well, I don't want to keep you if you feel awkward or anything like that. I just wanted to chat with you a little bit and let your heart know that I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, I think my question was going to be about, well, I kept sensing my question changing because I felt like listening to the other people being walked through or coached, it felt like my question would get kind of resolved, and then something else would come up, and then something else would come up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's why I then when it was my turn, I'm like, oh no, I don't know, or I have a new question.
Totally. Oh my gosh, you can relate to that, huh? Like your question changing. Totally. I can totally. Yeah. It's like what we were just talking about before too, is like we're all gleaning from each other. And so it makes sense that like your question would shift. And I would love to hear, and you don't have to share, but I'm so curious, like what in you felt like you got a little bit of resolve today. Like if you want to speak to that, you can, but again, you don't have to.
Oh, I don't even remember. I mean, there was stuff about my mom that then got resolved, something about my cousins that then got resolved. I don't know exactly what it was, though. It was just, I guess, knowing that I'm not, well, partly knowing I'm not alone, but knowing that I am supported, I'm safe. I mean, there's been so many things that as each person was walked through or coached, I felt like it was me being walked through.
So cool. So cool. And again, like kudos to your heart for being so open. I think it's really beautiful that your heart was like watching other women get walked through things, and your heart's like, I can have that too. That's mine. I can have that. Like there was so much like hope that sounds like you connected to inside of that. And that, again, it just says a lot about your heart. And that's a really cool thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess there's something like, I think the only thing or the main thing coming up right now is I feel really scared of money, and well, scared of not having money. And so I keep wondering, well, where should where should I go for support? But I don't know. I feel like I've tried 1,000 ways to get support with that, and it just feels like it doesn't ever get resolved no matter what I do.
Yeah. That can be really frustrating. Yeah. I had 2 thoughts come to mind. Would that be okay to share them with you? And they're kind of like, we can take these or leave these. It's not necessarily that we have to coach on them in these minutes, but I was coached on this one time, and it was really eye-opening for me to, like, you know how we're kind of in the fishbowl of our lives sometimes, and we're just in it that we can't see it. And this exercise kind of pulled me out so I could see what my relationship with money was. And I had a coach ask me, if money is a person, like, how do you envision money as a person? And then what is your relationship like with that person? And so maybe spending some time journaling about that, or just pondering it, like, yeah, what comes to mind? What kind of person comes to mind? And kind of putting it in a story form for yourself so that you can kind of see what's happening. That might be kind of like just a little exercise just to understand where you're coming from in that.
Mm-hmm.
And then also our support coach, Taylor Gibbs, she did a video a few months ago in the Facebook group on, diving into that relationship with money. So if you want to Google her name on that, or not Google it, but search it in the Facebook group, that could be something that's kind of important or helpful in your processing. Yeah. So again, you can take those or leave those, but I just wanted to honor your heart that you had a question come up about money. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else you wanted to share?
Just I really related to I forget who it was that was pushing. No, sorry. Felt like there's this feeling of you have to push people away to get them to come close to you, and I've spent so much time most of my life really, but just lately it's come up again really strongly. It's been really scary. Like it's been it's been scary wondering, well, should I push someone away so I can try to get them to come to want to be closer to me. And I'm just ready to heal that now, or ready to just sit with that. And I don't know if I was really ready to sit with it earlier, or I don't know what happened, but I
Sure.
heard it.
Yeah. Yeah. Super tender. Super tender. It'd be really interesting if you wanted to process that out a little bit by just like kind of asking Holy Spirit, what age did I start learning this? And just see if any images come to mind, any sensations, anything like that. And I'm kind of a broken record about this. So a lot of people have heard me say this many times, but finding a picture of yourself as a young girl, just to kind of build in like a visual of, oh my gosh, I was a tiny person once. And that tiny person learned a lot about the world and about how relationships work. And that tiny person learned to push away in hopes that the rubber band effect would happen, right? So just starting with compassion for yourself of like, the story is not I'm a broken person who's bad at relationships or whatever you're thinking. I'm not saying that that's what you said, but whatever you're thinking, the story is, oh, I learned this and I'm wanting to shift this, and just having compassion right there as you're moving forward in the course, as you're processing, with other people and in the group and on coaching calls and things like that. Does that feel accessible right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's beautiful. Thanks so much for being willing to share in this time. I really liked getting to know you a little bit more.
Thank you. Thanks so much for letting me.
Absolutely, Lindsay. You enjoy your spring day wherever you are, okay? All right, keep me posted too, okay? I'd love to hear. All right, guys, I'm just gonna take a peek at the chat real quick. I love that, Elizabeth. I love group calls. So many little things are brought up and connected. It reminds me of a quilt. I love that so much. Yeah, okay, so you guys are chatting about how money feels. Yes, so good. Yeah, and Taylor Gibbs is the coach who did that video on the money exercise. Yeah, so good, you guys. I love your processing in here. That's awesome. All right, we are at the end of our call for today. It was great to be with you guys. Thank you again for bringing your vulnerability. So those of you that were coached, you brought your vulnerability and we honor that. Those of you who gleaned also brought your vulnerability. You allowed your heart to be affected by someone else. So thank you for showing up to engage like that. Yeah, Sarita, you're so welcome. It's great to see you, girl. And I hope everybody's afternoon is really gentle and really sweet, and that you just let these waves of growth and transformation just happen, and that you know you're held by Jesus and that you're held by our community here. And one more thing, we are going to keep the Zoom room open, the breakout room open after this. So Hannah's gonna manage that for you guys. So feel free if you want to hang out and keep processing, keep chatting, or just meet other clients and connect with them. Feel free to hang out in here in the group. All right. So I will see you guys around, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.